Emilia Furduiu, welcome, welcome. It is such an honor and a pleasure to have this conversation about how you created YOLI Adventures in the Valley of the Shadows. Welcome.
Thank you, Andrea, for your invitation, and I'm so happy to talk about this.
Well,
it's a bit exciting for me because I'm an introvert and mostly a hermit, so I just think that I'm speaking with family and friends today.
you are, indeed you are. Well, as you know, I am so excited about what you've created, and we have a lot in common. First of all, my middle name is Emilia, spelled a little bit differently, but we have that in common. And I am also an introvert, and I love being a little bit of a hermit. But when you have something in your heart and you have so much compassion for people who are suffering, that's what motivates us to get out and do what we do, right?
Yes.
So let's just talk about first, what is this book about? So it's a comic book, first of all. And even though we say it's for children, I found that when I read it earlier this year, when you first sent it to me, I was like, anyone could relate to this.
Yes. It's useful for everybody and for grown-ups who are doing personal development work and inner growth work. I just try to find a way to express it for kids so it's easier for them to comprehend. And it's based on things I learned about thinking, about mindset, the impact that negative thoughts have on our inner life and our emotions. And our thoughts are based on some emotional experiences that we try to give meaning to, and then we enter a loop or a downward spiral at times, trying to uh, we got this downward spiral. And I really experienced this in my life, and it dragged me in some places that I was suffering. And when I started learning those things, I thought that everybody should know them, and especially kids, because there comes an age when you are intellectually able to understand those concepts and apply them and take charge of the meanings you create. And basically, this was what motivated me to do it.
Yeah, I love it. So in this particular book, which will likely be the first in a series, YOLI is a yellow unicorn. I guess we probably should have addressed that first, considering what's on your head. So how did you first conceive of YOLI? So YOLI, or YOLIs, plural, are really these characters, these yellow unicorns that you're using to bring these messages from positive psychology and personal development to help children master their thoughts and their emotions. Why unicorns? Like what happened in the artistic process for you that you came up with the unicorn?
Well, you're gonna laugh. It's a bit of a tangled history. About 2 years ago, I stumbled across an internet meme saying, when my friends told me I'm delusional, I almost fell off my unicorn.
I've seen that one.
Because I have some visions that seem utopian to people and idealistic. I felt like I was riding unicorns at the time and feeling a bit out of this world. And so I said, okay, I'm going to create my universe where I can be as utopian as I want and the world that I want, starting from there. And so I came up with Emilitopia, and the logo had a design with a unicorn horn. And so sort of the yellow unicorn back then. And this year, I just started drawing to create an avatar for that universe, and it had to be a yellow unicorn. So YOLI was born. It was just the first drawing, the first attempt. That was it. That was YOLI. And I love yellow because for me, it's the color of light, and it's energetic, youthful, playful. I think it has a good vibe to, to put it in the story. And it's also golden. And
Yeah.
it will attract abundance in our lives in a sense of well-being.
Nice. So one of the things that you mentioned to me was you were doing a lot of your own personal development work, and you've come a long way. So from being a child, you mentioned that you were afraid of monsters, under your bed or in the dark, and through your own journey, you've been able to kind of get rid of fears and anxieties. Obviously, here you are as an introvert. You're coming out to the world on social media and in interviews. So, what happened earlier this year that said, okay, now is the time that? Did you get a mental download? What was it that inspired it to happen this year that you wrote this comic book?
Well, it's hard to pinpoint just one thing. I've been to a lot of programs, courses, quests for personal development, and I got all those ideas. And then the pandemic got global, and we hit lockdown, and people were scared and confused. And basically, those are my shadows.
Mm,
I was seeing them all around me manifesting. Um, and I had this intention set years ago to create materials for kids to use for their to develop their emotional intelligence and mindset, but I didn't act on it because I didn't feel ready myself. And this year it was something like, ready or not, here I come, put it out. And the things I learned I felt were so useful at that moment in this particular context that I just started taking notes and drawing. And from the first notes I took, the outline of the story, when I just turned on my graphic tablet and started drawing until I finished it in Romanian with text and everything, it took me 10 days,
wow.
which now I think, how did I do it? I don't understand the process. I just dived into it. And the outline that I had was just for the first part of the story until YOLI starts teaching. And the
Mm,
teach and all the summary that I put at the end of the book came after I had drawn and illustrated that first part. So it was in within the 10 days. So I guess I had to put it out. I had
yeah.
no expectation.
I love it. I love just the artistic process and how you receive this inspiration and you put it into action. And I love that this is going to help parents who need to teach their children how to master their thoughts, but in such a creative way. And one of the messages that I love most about YOLI is that you want us to know, parents and children, that you are the light. You are the light that can light up the darkness and shine the light on those shadows. So tell us, what does YOLI stand for?
Your own light ignited.
I love it.
And I love it that it's an acronym because we love acronyms, and just having this reminder that you can ignite your own light and be a light in the times of darkness, it's awesome. Because I see a lot of people and I hear a lot of people saying that we're living dark times
Yeah.
and we're scared about what might happen. And just knowing that you inside of you can harness your light of love and compassion, and then shine it in the world and bring light in the lives of other people. It's amazing because we cannot control what happens in our external environment, and things can hurt us and people can hurt us, but we have a choice inside our inner world by taking charge of the way we create meanings and we react. Have to react out of old triggers. We can take time to think about what's happening and craft our own response to the situations. And I wish kids would learn this as soon as possible. I know there are times when we grow, it's a process, when we develop our thinking, and there are also all sorts of stages in this process. But there are things you can comprehend starting from the age of 3, and there are things you will understand when you're 35, but they're all packed in that story.
Yeah, it's so true. And one of some of the inspiration, so you told me about being inspired by the work of Dr. Daniel Amen, the work of Byron Katie,
Yes,
our friend Michael Beckwith, right?
yes. And the work of Dr. Reverend Beckwith was inspiring because I listened to him talking about the dark night of the soul.
Mm.
And it's like, well, this is what happened to me. And that's exactly the value of the shadows, because it has this dimension that is very mundane when we suffer physically and emotionally, but it can also be um, darkness, a spiritual darkness, when we don't trust ourselves enough
Mm.
to use our gifts and create into the world the things that we are meant to, because we have this insecurity, this fear that we are not good enough, that we are not worth, that we have to stick to other people's standards and values, and so we hold back from expressing ourselves, and this is also a value of the shadows. And you can be, I don't know, you can be very successful but still feel that you're not living your purpose, and it's not something that you can explain, but you feel it, and it's really draining.
Yeah, I know. I lived that for a few years in the beginning of my career. And that's why I love that you're taking the work of contemporary personal development people and doctors and healers and bringing it into a language that every child will totally understand. And you know, as parents, as we're reading these stories to our children, it's not like we're going to be psychologically, you know, talking down to them. You
Yes.
just, I mean, I have to say, I commend you for doing such a great job of translating modern wisdom around psychology into a really fun format. And that the book has this wonderful story about YOLI and the adventure that YOLIs go on, but also the teaching aspect in there as well.
Mhm. Yeah, and when I listen to all these wonderful people and study their work, I still have a lot of learning to do. So, but when I listened to them, I was like, so why aren't books for kids that talk about these things? And as I asked myself, I started noticing them. There are books for kids, but not enough.
Yeah.
And usually there are people who have this idea, who create a book or a CD or something like that, a movie, a video on YouTube, but it's not something really consistent. It's just like there are ideas popping, but I would really love to create a community where we can create consistently for kids
Mm.
to give these messages to them in a way that it's fun and entertaining, and will help them create anchors for meaning to help them later in their lives. So maybe at first they will just connect with the characters, with the story, they have funny faces, they make stupid things, because basically all these are just little kids. And they'll connect with the characters. At one point they will ask themselves, so what would Yoli do now? Well, one Yoli would do this and the other would do that and the third would. would do something completely different. Because even though YOLIs are named the same and they look the same, basically they represent, they embody three different parts of ourselves and our thinking. And I base them on the growth mindset, the fixed mindset, and the state of flow. So in their reactions and adventures and approach to the world and their interactions, they will react out of that place. And the nice thing for me is to respect each and one of them, because they are all valuable and useful to us in our daily lives. So the thing that's important for us to do is to learn where those thoughts and reactions are coming from. Just to observe them and take notice of what's happening, and then choose our response. And if we learn to do that, that will happen faster. So as a grown-up, when I try to observe my feelings and react out of a place of awareness and respond honoring my thoughts and emotions and not just react impulsively, it takes more time to process what I'm feeling or thinking. But I think that if we learn this sooner in our lives, it won't take us as much to understand what's happening.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. It is. You are bringing a whole lot of wisdom, including the archetypes that you're sneaking in there as well. Well, it's an honor for me to be your publisher at Make Your Mark Global. This is our first comic book that we're bringing to the world. Super excited, and I can't wait to see what the parents say as their children start reading them or they read to their children. I think it's wonderful. So you've talked a little bit about this idea of having a utopian alter universe, and that's really what Emilia is. Tell me a little bit about your vision for that.
Wow, the vision is, for the moment, just a vision, but I'm really focusing on it. So at first, I really want to create a community of like-minded people to begin with, because, as I said, we're a family and we're friends. And I have a lot of ideas of how I can create these messages for kids. So now I'm working on some stories and episodes that I will translate into English and upload on YouTube. But this is something that I can do with my resources at the moment. I think that as people will engage and I will get more resources to invest in the project, then we can go really wild with what we can do to deliver to kids and engage them. So one of my dreams is to have a game in an app, and these YOLI avatars, and use the artificial intelligence to communicate with kids, and giving them the messages they need to develop their emotional and cognitive awareness. It's like having a consulting team in your pocket, something like mini coaches in your pocket. Like, what would YOLI do now? I have this problem. I have been bullied. Let's see what YOLI say about bullying. Let's have a conversation. And I see there are technologies going in this direction, and a lot of people are scared about AI and what technology can do to us, and using social media and all these platforms. But it's really up to us how we use it. And it's a thing that programmers say the AI will do what you ask it to do.
Right.
So
why not ask it to empower our children?
Yes, let's ask AI to do that.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Emilia, thank you so much for taking some time to share with us today a little bit of the magic behind YOLI. You can get yourself a copy of the book anywhere books are sold, YOLI Adventures in the Valley of the Shadows. And you can also visit emiliatopia.com so that you can learn more about the magical world that Emilia is creating, as well as connect with her on social media so that you can see the YOLIs in action and their little inspirational hits coming at you. Thank you so much, Emilia, and congratulations on having this book out now all around the world, from From Romania to the world with love.
Thank you too, Andrea. It's an awesome journey, and I'm happy to have you by my side.
That makes both of us. So there you have it, my friends. Get your copy of the book and share it with the young people in your life. But as I said, it's a great read, and it would be actually useful for you in your mental programming as well. Well, until we meet again, my friends, please do remember that you are a gift to the world. I might even borrow from YOLI and say you are the light that you've been waiting for to light up the darkness in the world. So shine and shine on. Much love.